Hello YouTube, Nintendo 64 Corner coming back from my little hiatus for a while, around a few months, actually a little bit more than a few months. I took a break from YouTube. For the people I talked to on Instagram, they know the situation that was going on. It kind of had a personal impact that happened, but I finally moving on. I finally have gotten past it, thank God. And I'm here to change up a couple of things here on my channel. So obviously I changed the name of my channel. This won't be focused on this won't be focused on Nintendo stuff anymore, just solely focused on it. Part of what I did when I went through this hiatus of getting past this personal problem, sorry about the camera shake there, is I discovered that I actually really enjoy watching animation, specifically anime. I do like that, and I recently discovered an old hobby that I had as a child, and it keeps my mind preoccupied, so there's a reason I do it. And this is going to be the first video in a line of videos that I'll make. It's going to be called The Legendary Loser, and what it is, it's my personal childhood card game, Yu-Gi-Oh! And it's going to be me showing off the decks that I would probably play with when I was a child, if I ever had a chance to get the cards, because it was a lot harder to find the cooler cards back then. So this is going to be deck number 1. This is going to be solely focused on mainly Dark Magician. There will be a little bit different variations of certain monsters, certain types, stuff like that, just to kind of balance it out, to have some defenders, some attackers, to give me time to get my Dark Magician sent out. But enough with all that fiddle-faddle. We're just going to get right into it here. So, the first card in my deck, obviously, is going to be Dark Magician. This is not the original, unfortunately. I actually just got the original, like when I was a kid, recently. But I decided just to throw this in because I wanted to make a deck dedicated to the first cards that I grew up with. But yeah, there's my Dark Magician. That's the main monster in my deck. And then with some of the attackers, here we have, see if we'll focus, maybe not. See if it will, maybe if I back up, zoom in maybe. Well, it doesn't look like it's going to focus, but that is Dark Blade. He's just an attacker with 1800 and 1500 defense, so I can use him for attack and defense. And this is going to be one of my defenders. Oop. Sorry about that again. Maybe if I change. There we go. There we go. So kind of see a giant soldier of stone. As you can see, he doesn't have very high attack, but he does have very good defense. So that is my defender. Here we have Luster Dragon. I believe there is more than 2, but as far as I know, there's only Luster Dragon and a Luster Dragon 2, which I do have. Those are the only ones that I do know of. But this is mainly an attacker. He's got 1900 attack, but he also has 1600 defense, so he's not a bad defender as well. Gun up another attacker to give me some time to get my Dark Magician out, Mad Dog of Darkness. I kind of try to keep the dark types in as much as I can. And then one of Yugimoto's original cards that he used in the first season, Summoned Skull. This is a fiend. He's got really high attack. He's got kind of low defense, but not terrible. But this is definitely made as an attacker. And here we have Sword Stalker. He's going to be one of my higher level attackers as well. And then Vorse Raider. I believe Seto Kaiba is the one that used him a lot. He's got high attack. 1900 attack. Those are all my monsters. We're just going to set those aside for now. Moving on to effect cards. For those who don't know what effect cards are the ones that you use as both monsters, but they do have an effect with them, which can both be beneficial and or bad depending on how well you play them. But these are the ones that I would probably use. So this one is 4-starred Ladybug of Doom. What this does, it destroys all level 4 monsters your opponent controls. So there's a lot of level 4 monsters, because anything level 4 or below you can normal summon, which makes it easier to get the cards out in the field. if you want to summon a higher level, like a level 5 or a level 6 star, you would have to sacrifice one of the monsters. But this would really help if you needed to clear the field out and attack the opponent's life points directly. This one was one of the recent ones I discovered, Absolute Crusader. What he does is that he destroys any level 5 or higher monster that was special summoned. He's also got really good attack. He's actually got 1800 attack, so that would be really useful. And this one's kind of a cool looking one. See if I can zoom in a little bit, maybe. Kind of dark because it's a foil, but this is Apprentice Illusion Magician. And what she does is that you can use her to give a spellcaster 2000 attack and defense during the damage step if you discard her and throw her into the graveyard. Also, you can also add 1 Dark Magician to your hand. This one is going to be used for protecting my life points. This is a Roma Jar, and what it does, it's a flip effect. What a flip effect does is that it activates when the opposing player attacks that face down card, and it gets flipped up. So what this does is that it gives me, I believe, 500 life points at the end of each player's end phase. So every time a person ends their turn, I would gain 500 life points from this card. And the other good quality of this is that you cannot destroy this card by battle. So you'd have to destroy it with either a magic or a trap card, which is a little handy thing. And then coming up is my favorite Yu-Gi-Oh card, or Yu-Gi-Oh monster, I guess you'd call it. Dark Magician Girl. I absolutely love this card. I use it as often as I can. I mean, she's not super special or anything, but she is an effect. She does get 300 attack for every Dark Magician or Magician of Black Chaos in either player's graveyard. So if you're opposing... Oh, excuse me. That was my jerry-rigged light there. If you have Dark Magician or Dark Magician of Black Chaos in your graveyard, or if the opponent has either one of those cards in their graveyard, this would still get a 300 attack boost, which is cool. But she's my favorite card just because I think she's badass. Okay, moving on here, we have Double Costin. What this card has is actually got really good attack. It's got 1700 attack and good defense of 1650, so I could use it as an attacker and defender as well. But the effect of it is that I can use it as 2 tributes to summon a dark monster, which is what you need to summon Dark Magician. As far as I remember, I don't know if the rules changed or not. Here we have Fencing Fire Ferret. And what his ability is if this card is destroyed and sent to the graveyard, you can target 1 monster that your opponent controls, and you destroy it, and on top of that you inflict 500 points of direct damage to your opponent. I figured that'd be a good one to have in case I'm getting really bad luck and not drawing the right cards. I can use it to help me out a little bit, to buy me some time. And this card, Magician's Valkyria, for those who don't know, this card is very useful for protecting your spellcasters, aka Dark Magician and Dark Magician Girl, the ones that I can think of. She's got really good attack, really good defense. She's got 1800 defense and 1600 attack. What this card's effect is that it protects your spellcasters, because your opponent cannot target any other spellcaster type monsters except this one. So that one would protect your Dark Magician and Dark Magician Girl. So that give you some time to get some spell cards or trap cards or whatever you use to set up with your spellcasters. Okay. Here we have Mysterious Puppeteer. This one's one of my original cards, actually, that I found in my shed a little bit ago. This is a card from way back when, and I decided to put it in my deck because I thought the effect was pretty good. So every time your opponent normal summons or flip summons a monster, you can increase your life points by 500. So you can kind of see that I have a couple of cards to help protect my life points if I need to. Moving on, Old Vindictive Magician. So now we're getting into destroying some good cards here. You can target one monster your opponent controls, and I can destroy that target. So if I happen to see a Blue Eyes or a Relinquished or something, or some other powerful monster, I can use that card to at least give me a hand at, or a shot at killing it, or just destroying it, I guess is the right term. Next up we have Trap Reactor Wi-Fi. What this card does is that I can destroy one trap card that an opponent controls, and the plus to that is I can inflict 800 points of direct damage to the opponent, so that's a really useful card. Shove those to the side right now. Moving on, we're moving on to what the game actually wants you to use. It wants you to have very minimal monsters, and you're supposed to be using a bunch of magic and trap cards, because that's the whole point. You're just supposed to have a few monsters, then have enough spells and trap cards to keep you from losing those monsters. But I prefer playing with effect monsters and actual monsters themselves than having a bunch of spell and trap cards, because I don't get to battle that much if I'm just using spell and trap cards. So, but I do have a good amount of magic and trap cards. So here we have Ancient Rules. This allows me to summon a level 5 or higher normal monster from my hand, so I can summon a Dark Magician with that card. And there's Black Luster Ritual. This will allow me to summon Black Luster Soldier. Some cards, excuse me, let me adjust the camera there because the lighting sucks in this apartment. But some spell cards is that they're rituals. Some monsters require rituals and sacrifices to get them summoned. This is one of the examples. This one would require either one really high-powered monster or a couple of monsters plus this ritual card to summon Black Luster Soldier. Here we have Black Pendant. When I put this card in my deck, I did have Dark Magician in mind. The monster that wears this gains 500 attack, but as soon as the opponent sends the monster equipped with this card to the graveyard, you inflict 500 points of damage to your opponent. So it's not a complete loss if you lose the monster that's equipped with this card. And obviously we got a cliched brain control here. You pay 800 life points, then you take control of an opponent's monster until that end phase. Here we have Dark Hole. If all else fails, just send all the monsters on the field to the graveyard. Start off fresh. Here we're getting into some of Dark Magician's special magic cards. So here we have Dark Magic Attack. And what it is if you control Dark Magician, you can destroy all spell and trap cards that's on the opponent's side of the field. So that'd be a very good card to have. And this one, I think this is a must-have in any spellcaster's deck. And if you have Dark Magician or Dark Magician Girl or anything, this is a card you must have. It has a few effects on it. It all depends on how many Dark Magicians and Dark Magician Girls, that you have on the field or in the graveyard. And if you have one Dark Spellcaster, that monster would gain 1,000 attack, depending on which one's on the field. And if you had two, your opponent cannot activate cards and the effects, ergo they cannot destroy yours. And then if you have three, the spellcasters that you control are unaffected by your opponent's card's effects until the end of this turn. So this would be a very good card to have, depending on how many you would use. So obviously I have two, so card effects will not affect my spellcasters. Then here we have Mage Power. This just gives any monster that I want 500 attack and defense for every spell and trap card I control. Here we have another cliche. This is Monster Reborn. This just allows you to special summon a monster from the graveyard. And then Polymerization. Oop, dropped the card. Polymerization. I can never pronounce that word. It's kind of a different one. I do have the original. I actually got it last night, so I'm pretty excited. But Polymerization is used to fusion two monsters together to create a more powerful monster. And then Ring of Defense. What this is, it stops any trap cards that would inflict battle damage to you. And Swords of Revealing Light. What this does, it basically stops the opponent from attacking or doing anything to you. It stops them for 3 turns. And then here we have 1,000 Knives. In my mind, this is something I would use at the very end of the duel. This is for Dark Magician, because usually towards the end of the duel you can get a higher level monster summoned. I can use this to destroy that opposing player's monster. There's all my magic cards. I'm just going to shove those over there. And here we have the trap cards. These are the ones that you usually play face down after you summon a monster, because trap cards are usually made to protect the monster. Here we have half on break. This is basically here in case I can't defend myself properly enough from a higher level monster. What this does is that I can choose one monster on the field, and that monster cannot be destroyed by battle, so this would protect my monster from dying, and any battle damage that I would have taken from the attacks are halved. So in Yu-Gi-Oh, if 2 monsters are attacking, depending on who has the higher attack, number 1, it would destroy the monster. Number 2, the amount of the difference between the 2 attacks would come out of my life points. Let's say my monster had 1600 attack and it got attacked by a monster with 1900 attack. It would destroy my monster, and I would lose 300 life points from it, to take out the difference there. What this card would do is that it would have it, so instead of losing 300 points, I would lose 150, plus I would keep the monster that was attacked on the field. So that's a good card to have. This is also one of Yugimoto's, or I should say the Pharaoh, one of the Pharaoh's favorite cards, Magic Cylinder. Ooh, this is one of the originals, so I had to have it in my deck. What this does is that after an opponent declares an attack, I can negate the attack, and I can inflict damage to the opponent equal to the monster that attacked. So I'm going to use the example again. If the monster had 1900 attack, I could flip this card up, and then it would send the attack right back at him and inflict 900 points of direct damage to him. And then for those who watched the original series, especially in the first season, you guys would probably recognize this right off the bat. The magical hats. The Pharaoh loved using this. In the show, what it did is when he had Dark Magician or Dark Magician go, he used it to hide it, and the opposing player, the other duelist, had to choose the hats, and if he didn't get it, well, then he was boned, basically. But the way this one works here in the real world, unfortunately, you choose non-2 monster cards from your deck and 1 monster you control. Shuffle those 3 cards and then set them on the field in defense position. The 2 cards chosen from your deck are treated as normal monsters and are destroyed at the end of the battle phase. So this is used to hide your Dark Magician, to give you some time to get yourself together and get something going, get a battle plan or strategy going. And then another cliche one, but a very good one, Mirror Force. This just basically blocks the attack of the monster that's attacking you. And here we have, forgive me if I'm wrong, Sakruistu Armor, maybe? I don't know how to pronounce that, but sorry, I was reading it. I didn't realize it wasn't centered, but I was trying to pronounce it. So this is, if my opponent attacks, I can destroy the monster so that it doesn't damage it at all. So I still protect my monster. And this one's sort of a peaceful one. Waboku, I believe. You take no battle damage from your opponent's monsters during that turn that this card is activated, and my monsters cannot be destroyed by battle. So basically, this will protect my monster as well. Oh, so I don't know if I said it in the beginning or not, but this is just cards that I would personally use in a duel. These are probably all the ones that I would use, so I'm discarding extra decks or field or anything like that. This is because this card right here that I'm holding, this is supposed to be in an extra deck because this is a ritual summon, so this would be in the other deck. So technically I could have had one more card in this, but I just decided to make it as simple as I can since I probably won't be dueling that much with other players here because it's not very popular anymore, unfortunately. So here we have Black Luster Soldier. This is when I first decided to start buying Yu-Gi-Oh cards again. I got this right off the bat. I was super happy. I knew that this was the ritual card I wanted to put in my deck. But yeah, this card just has really high attack. I don't know if it's going to focus on it or not. It might. Maybe. Come on. Focus on it. Well, it's got 3,000 attack and 2,500 defense, so it's a really powerful monster. And this one I wanted to throw in just because I think it's really awesome, and they're my favorite. Well, they're not my favorite, but they are one of the more cooler, yes, I'm using wrong grammar here, cooler cards in the whole show and game. Here we have one of the most powerful cards, the Winged Dragon of Ra. This one is super powerful. It almost cannot be stopped. It can, but it's really impossible. It's in the same realm as Exodia, the forbidden one. It's really hard to destroy cards like this because this one right here is an Egyptian god. For those who don't know, there's 3 Egyptian gods. There's the Winged Dragon of Ra, Cypher the Sky Dragon, and Obelisk the Tormentor. Those 3 are very hard to destroy. This one's definitely the hardest. But I figured since I had it, I may as well just throw it in my deck, even though it's not going to focus on it. But it says this card cannot be used in a duel because I bought this in a collector's box. But yeah, guys, that was my deck of solely focused on spellcasters and really just Dark Magician in general, as much as I could. But I hope you guys forgive me for taking some time off from YouTube. I really do apologize for not posting as often as I can. I mean, like I said, this was a really bad time for me around the beginning of the year. I just had that little personal thing that happened to me, but I'm working past it. I decided to make another YouTube. Actually, I'll be making a few videos today to play a game of catch up. But thank you guys for understanding. I hope you guys don't mind the little changes that I did. I'm gonna have to revive my channel a little bit. Please understand, I do need some time. This was a really bad impact that happened, but I am working past it, I promise. I'm almost back to normal, so that's why I was able to make a video, or had the courage to make another video. But thank you all for watching. And I am not Nintendo 64 Corner anymore, unfortunately, so I can't use that. This has been a production of Ranky Nerductions, even though I said Nintendo 64 Corner in the beginning just from habit. Take care, guys, and I hope you all enjoy the rest of your day.